Hello and welcome to Communication Connection. I'm Terry Likes. Thank you so much for joining us. Many people often look at a career in the media and think it is glamorous, and in some ways it is, but it also can be an awful lot of hard work for those who've been out there and doing that. And today our guest is one who has worked in the media. Victoria Bailey is our guest, who is an instructor here in the Department of Communication. Welcome and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Likes.
You are originally from Alabama, and you went to Troy University and earned a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. With an interest in the media, what was it that lured you to a career in the media?
Yes, sir. So some of my earliest childhood memories include me helping mom prepare dinner and or breakfast and listening to programs like NPR or Prairie Home Companion, Garrison Keillor. One of my favorite skits is the Guy Noir skit, and listening to storytellers like that. Same with Dad. Being in his workshop, we're listening to storytellers like Barbra Streisand and like Anderson Cooper. And so hearing these people throughout my life and listening to them tell stories has been really helpful in shaping my interest in the media.
And so you've worked in 3 different television markets throughout the Southeast, and eventually a career slightly change of path into wanting to teach those who would like to enter the media here at Mississippi State University. What made that change of career path for you?
Yes, sir. So I have to credit my family with this answer as well. Everyone in my family is an educator, but specifically on my dad's side. So my mom and dad are secondary educators of more than 30 years. And then my father's mom, she was a doctor of psychology at Tuskegee University for more than 40 years. And so getting to see those experiences, getting to literally grow up in the classroom helped me understand that, yes, disciplines are very important, but education is also important, and making sure that you have those things are important as well.
So before you came to Mississippi State, you were working, some may recognize you from your time at WCBI in Columbus, and then you worked in Dothan, Alabama,
yes,
and
sir.
then down on the coast at a TV station. So
yeah.
We're very glad to have you and bring your experience here. And one of the things about being in the classroom is it's important to try to stay current. And in our industry, an ever-changing media industry, the technology changes, the trends, the styles of doing things. You've had a chance to not only continue to freelance in the industry, but you earned a fellowship from the Mississippi Association of Broadcasters. Tell us about those experiences.
I did, yes, sir. And so just being selected for the MAB Faculty Fellowship was such an honor. Being out of the field and being primarily in the classroom for a year obviously causes you to want to sharpen up your skills. And so having this fellowship allowed me to do that. It also, I think, was beneficial for students. The station that I selected, like you said, was WCBI for this fellowship. And a lot of our students do internship and have volunteer opportunities there. So I'm working alongside them all summer, and they're able to see that I'm not just teaching them from a textbook or from videos that I've seen, but my actual skill set and my actual experiences.
Well, we mentioned you have a master's degree, and as if you aren't busy enough with freelance and your teaching experience, you've embarked on your next, in this case, an academic challenge.
I have, yes, sir. So I started last year rather, working on my doctorate. I am working on educational leadership with a concentration in higher education. This experience has been very, very, very helpful. And as I mentioned before, our disciplines are important in ensuring that our students receive those objectives, but classroom management, managing different personalities, ensuring that the students of all walks of life receive exactly what we hope they walk away with is very important. And so the class I'm in now, we're working on the understanding of higher education, almost back to the colonial period, and just understanding how things back then are kind of contributing to things now, and kind of how we navigate the things that we have now in higher education.
So navigating that, navigating your professional media experience and bringing that to the classroom, I think many outsiders look at, oh, I could teach, I would love to teach, but I think you found, like I have found over the years, it's not quite as easy as many people realize.
No, and so I say this when I'm posed this question, it's not necessarily harder or easier, it's just challenging. And so we have ourselves go from focusing on maybe 2 to 3 stories a day to 19 stories in a couple of weeks. And so the challenging part for me is to ensure that each student with their skill set and their level are receiving helpful things for when they get out into the workforce. Again, we're at different levels, so we want to make sure that each student is still growing and developing in the way that helps them best for when they graduate and walk across the stage.
You are, again, in your 3rd year, so you're feeling more comfortable in the classroom and have established your classes, because anytime you teach a class for the first time, you're working to get the materials developed. You've been teaching writing courses, and you were the advisor for Take 30, the student newscast. And for those who don't know, that's an all-day Friday capstone experience. Why is it all-day Friday?
So we wanted to give students a station simulation, if you will. We want them to have experience in the day-to-day operation for both the news side and the production side. And so our students spend the semester generating content throughout the week and building a newscast and putting it together from production to content to everything that encompasses news. And so the students will pick a track, if you will, either the production side or the news side, and they'll kind of grow and develop in those areas. We have anchors, we have our reporters, we have beat lists. Our students are assigned areas that they are required to pull information from. Associated with our capstone class, we have a podcast that we do each week, and we also have a social media content producer. So we are really trying our hardest to ensure that the students have everything that they need to be successful when they graduate and leave us.
And much like the audience watching this particular show, you only see the 2 of us, but they don't really realize how much work is going on behind the scenes by a multitude of people. And in your case, trying to get dozens of students in a coordinated effort in a live production to all be in sync at the right time, that's a big challenge in itself.
Oh, for sure. It definitely takes a lot of teamwork, but fortunately the students, this is what they've been working toward since they've started in our concentration. They are working to hopefully land careers and promising jobs in the field of news. And so we want to make sure that they have those opportunities. Do we run into some burning situations and do we have a couple of hiccups that we have to kind of deal with? Absolutely. But we rather them have those experiences here with us now before they actually get out in the workforce. And of course, giving them those opportunities, I hope, strengthens their ability to work when they leave.
Well, and I think we're seeing the results of some of that hard work. You and your students have been able to secure a lot of awards in recent years.
We have.
Has to be very rewarding for you as a member of the faculty, but also it really gives your students a leg up as they go looking for jobs, as you mentioned.
And that's exactly it. We just want to equip the students with everything they need to be successful. But of course, our students are already taking the initiative by turning content, generating these relationships in our community to be able to follow up on different topics. And our competitors, aka the other schools that we compete against, they are aware. We are, I think, a force to be reckoned with because our students really put the work in to make sure they're generating quality content.
You told me off camera right before we began this program that you had a unique experience recently involving one of the television networks based on a story that you produced a few years ago. So a little bit of a sidebar here, but tell us about that.
Absolutely, yes, sir. It was an exciting experience because, like you said, we always watch these shows, a true crime show or a snap show from one side, but getting to see the behind the scenes was very exciting. And so I covered a story in 2017. It was a grisly murder. We had a woman burn down her home and a disabled man was left inside of the home. And so naturally that type of content caught the attention of A&E Network, and they're doing a Interrogation Raw, that's the name of the actual show. And so I had the opportunity to meet with them here in Starkville and kind of go over the police report, go over my findings from reporting on it 5-6 years ago, and kind of really talk through those experiences and generate a story that I think the family will be proud of.
Well, it's always unique to see how things work behind the scenes, especially in that situation, because it's different than the work you've done behind the scenes as kind of a one-person reporting crew.
Absolutely, yes, sir. As I walk into the studio that we're filming my interview, it's a 12-person camera crew, and it's all industrial cameras, and we have hair and makeup and all of these things going on. And so a lot of work as we're showing the students. It takes a lot to get these programs up and running. It takes a lot to generate the content that goes into it and the attention-grabbing information for folks at home to enjoy. So that's an experience I've already talked to the students about, and they're fully aware that a lot goes into it, and if they want to make it to that level, or even just telling stories in their own community, we got to put our boots on the ground and get to work.
So it's observing things like that and being able to take those experiences back to the classroom, which are important. I know things have changed a lot, even in the time since you were at Troy as an undergrad, and you want to be able to share those experiences with your students.
Very much so, yes, sir. Any experience that I take away to this moment, two experiences I've had before getting into the academic arena, I share those with the students. Even students, when they're doing their stories and we're presenting our packages, let's talk through some of the issues that you guys ran into, just to help the next reporter, just to help the next student kind of relieve themselves of those issues. We are working to generate content, but we are on a team as well. And so we want to make sure we are fully versed in story development.
Much like a parent who wants to pass along wisdom to a child, faculty members like to pass along some insight to their students. So what are some takeaways or things that you like to share with students, things you want to make sure they're aware of?
I tell the students regularly, they may even repeat it back in a chant to me, make sure that you get involved as much as you possibly can now. Before you are on a payroll, before you are responsible for actually generating this content in a serious way, you want to make sure that you have crossed all T's, dotted all I's, get the experience in the areas in which you want to work or even are interested in working. And this is the time now to kind of figure out what you're actually interested in. As a kid, maybe you were interested in being on air, but the production side may interest you once you get into school. And this is the time to explore that and kind of see if it's something that you're interested in moving forward with. So just get involved, get involved, get involved.
Well, and there are a multitude of ways to get involved. It could be in public relations. It could be with campus media, such as here is University Television or The Reflector, campus radio station, and more. And plus internships, very important as well.
Very much so, yes,
Victoria
sir.
Bailey has been our guest, an instructor in the Department of Communication. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's been a real pleasure, and we thank you for watching here on Communication Connection. I'm Terry Likes. Thank you, and we will see you here next time. Take care.